and do the same. We have the details in the news. Welcome back from that story. And here we continue with more local news. The race for speakership in the Ugandan parliament is getting hot as more candidates are showing interest in unseating incumbent Right Honorable Anita Amonge. But the question is, who will win the race? We have the details on the story.
I promise to be a speaker who listens.
I'm carrying out consultations about that prospect.
This is not the first time I'm standing for speakership.
I'm 100% sure Kujirangu, NRM government and NRM party will bring the speaker and deputy speaker of parliament.
I have the experience, the courage, and the commitment to lead with fairness and firmness.
The Democratic Party cannot ignore that goodwill, and neither can I ignore that goodwill. Because when people meet you and they say, Osanide, and these are people who have previously been actually attacking me.
So, Nituzakajira Right Honorable Anita Mong. We are going to support the Right Honorable Speaker Anita Mong to be a Speaker of Parliament. And like she emphasized, she has been making it very clear. She wants to serve her last term. Then also me, I serve my last term as a Deputy Speaker.
I'll highlight her contribution to the Muslim community and why she should be re-elected as the Speaker of Parliament. On Saturday, I'll do so, inshallah. But those of you who are here, Temukola Era, I think in her, we have the right choice.
Masaka City, Commander 001, NRM Stock Empia. I take this opportunity to declare in the name of the Almighty Allah that Right Honorable Speaker Anita Mong will be the Speaker of the 12th Parliament.
Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar.
I commit a corruption-free parliament. The integrity of this house must be beyond reproach and exercise our oversight to the executive on our behalf, on behalf of all Ugandans. As Speaker of Parliament, I will ensure that this mandate is upheld faithfully and transparently for your benefit. I commit to leading a transparent and accountable Parliament. The processes of this House must be open, fair, and guided strictly by the rules of procedure and the Constitution. I think they should go back to the procedure of calling members of the ruling party, within the ruling party, who want to contest for the speakership race, to come out and express their interest. And then from there, they'll go pick, and debate out who is the best. And then from there, SEC will say this is our best.
Those who wanted to cause more turmoil started spreading rumors that I have actually decided to contest for position of Speaker. I want you to know that we even had a conversation about that with the Speaker. And I told her that if ever the time has come for me to make that announcement, I'll do it myself. The moment I was declared as a member of parliament elect, I started getting calls from many of the elected members of parliament urging me to contest for the position of speaker. So what does an intelligent person do? Because the NRM has the majority of members of parliament. And it is only natural that the majority party should provide the speaker. So right now, I'm carrying out consultations about that prospect. And we will also meet the leadership of the NRM, including the president, and talk openly about it. After all, everything we are doing is for Uganda. You are a speaker of Uganda. You are not a speaker for yourself. Fortunately, where I come from, we also gave the president serious votes. More than 80% on average. So this time we have a claim on the political cake. There is the national cake, which means roads, bridges, electricity, schools, health facilities. That is they call it the national cake.
Welcome back for the race. Indeed, it is a political speakership race. And from that side, we take you to Chisozi yesterday, where President Museveni was meeting the TikTokers and the bloggers. But in the meeting of the bloggers, there were serious questions from the bloggers, where Tamale Milundi Jr. was given a chance to question His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and see how he questioned him. He asked him to give power or positions to young people because the generation is full of young candidates. Let's get the details on the story.
Am I on? His Excellency, my name is Tamale Mirundi Jr., son to the late Tamale Mirundi Sr., your former press secretary. His Excellency, my question is, the population in Uganda, most of the population were young people. And His Excellency, you have so many old people in your government. Apart from you, the wise one, and the people like Mr. Byaruhanga who are very hardworking. His Excellency, we pray in the next government, you give more positions of authority to young people. That's our prayer. Because it is young people that understand young people. His Excellency, there are challenges that young people are going through, which even don't need the capital, they don't need the money, but understanding human behavior.
Who are those?
The young people ask His Excellency, the Gen Zs. Lastly, His Excellency, ever since, this is a kind reminder, ever since my late father passed on, I haven't got an opportunity to speak to you. I know today, His Excellency, after this session, you'll guarantee me that request. Because you have said we remind and we monitor. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now the young people, that's a very good idea from Tamale Mirundi, that we appoint young people. I like it. And we appointed them in the past. If, for instance, you see people like Anite, Evelyn Anite, I appointed her when she was in her 20s. just out of teenagers. So I will appoint them, I have no problem. But what you should be careful about, don't avoid your responsibility. Because I have told you before, don't confuse biology with ideology. You may be young, but lost in terms of what to do. And the good example were our independence leaders. All those leaders were young people, all of them, independence. Mutesa, 39 years, Obote, 35, Nechon, 28, Kakonge, 26, they were all young people. Wamwaro, what? The only one who was above 40 would have been maybe Nadiope and Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya was the one in the 50s. In the whole of East Africa, they were all young people. I remember Rashid Kawawa, when he became Prime Minister of Tanzania, he was 31. But they failed. So, don't concentrate on biology. Because when you say we understand the ones who understand the young people, that means they should understand them correctly. If they say we young people like Arsenal, and then you say because we are young we are watching Arsenal, including our minister Mvubuka, ari ku Arsenal. Ne batamanya nti obugaga buva wano, nti emirimu giva wano, you are going to be lost. So, don't spend so much time on just biology. Yes, biology is good, but please, ideology is the decisive. Because when we were fighting, we were young, but we were fighting young people on the other side. There were young people on the other side, we were young people on the side.
Welcome back from that side of Chisozi, from the farm of His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. From that side, we have the Member of Parliament, and that is Adeke Baju, who described the election of Uganda as full of fairness and political environment during the polls. He remarks and adds that the ongoing national debate about electoral reforms and democratic process in Uganda does nothing to eliminate the political brutality in the previous elections. We have the details on the story.
No noise will stop us from being the leaders. We shall be the leaders of the next parliament. At this time of the fasting, Ramadan, we should be united. This kind of attacks, when I see other people attacking, especially attacking me and my deputy speaker, I wonder whether they're in Lenten period. Because it is the time when we are in Ramadan and we're in Lenten period. But when I hear attacks coming from people, I really wonder whether these people are Christians. Because at this time of the year, you are supposed to forgive each other, you are supposed to be united, and you're supposed to cause reconciliation. Distinguished guests, this dinner marks the last dinner for the 11th Parliament, where Honorable Asuman has been a chair, and it ushers in the 12th Parliament, where we shall have the new Muslim leaders of the 12th Parliament. And the new Muslim leaders, I will later introduce them, and they are here. And we want to pray that the new leaders that are coming in do the same or even better than what the 11th Parliament has done for the good of Islam. The Parliamentary Caucus has done a lot. When you hear that the homosexuality bill, no wonder my friend Asuman has been sacrificed. He's the one who brought the law on homosexuality. And when he brought the law on homosexuality, he was fought until he lost. But in our Father's room, there are so many rooms. You will always have somewhere. And as your friends will never let you move alone. We will move with you wherever. Me and the Deputy Speaker will ensure that you have a place to be.
No wonder, there are people who want to seek to come to your office, who have resorted to blackmailing, sectarianism, partly because of being sponsored by imperialists who sanctioned you, who sanctioned me, because we can no longer travel to their countries. We want to ask, especially the MPs of the 12th Parliament, the Muslim MPs, if you want to continue with the agenda of Islam in this country, then I want to beseech you, all of you, that we rally behind Right Honorable Anita Mo and the Right Honorable Thomas Tayeba. That combination, triple A and double T, it is the combination that will serve the future of this country and the future of this parliament.
Elections come and go. We always have elections, and we all know there will always be one winner and a loser. So we should not lose sleep if elections have come and gone, but try to heal from the past. One of the reasons I honored this invite was I wanted to speak to the powers that be. I know Parliament has an oversight role in this country, is one of the arms of government. I thought that maybe when we speak there in the other places, possibly some people are not listening. But when I come here, everybody will be listening, those who make the laws. I'm only saying that let's leave the past behind us. Let's look at the future. I was among the opinion leaders who always called out to the population that please, let's have a peaceful election. Let's avoid civil disobedience. Let's move within the law and let's exercise our rights to vote. And I believe that everything went well until a day or so, maybe a week, I was seeing on the TV on one of these media houses, any TV to be particular, they highlighted what many people went through in the rural areas. There was a lot of anarchy, there was a lot of problems in those parts of the world. I'm saying it was uncalled for. All I'm asking from you, members of parliament, use the influence you have, use the powers you have to cause those who are behind this violence to be individually charged for having harassed.
Welcome back from that story and that side of Adeke Ebajo. With this, we continue with our local news in the country, and here brings us a story where Eddie Mutwe, Alex Waiswa, Bobby Giant, and others brought back to court. Current situation: supporters of the National Unity Platform have once again been brought before court, including Eddie Mutwe, Alex Waiswa, and Bobby Giant. They have the stories that they were arrested during the times for political sessions in 2026 and 2026 elections. We have the details on the story. We continue with more local news, and this bulletin makes the end of the local news, where civil society organizations advocating for the rights of women and girls have called on government to strengthen enforcement of laws addressing digital violence. We have the details on the story.
Activism against gender-based violence. Activists were concerned about the rising abuse of women and girls on social media platforms. They warned that online harassment, non-consensual sharing of images, and cyberbullying have severe psychological effects on victims.
Digital violence is not just virtual harm, but it has real consequences on mental health, safety, participation, and equality inter alia. It enforces discrimination and excludes women and girls from digital, social, economic, and civil spaces.
We are also calling upon the government of Uganda, the laws that are being implemented in our country, other civil society organizations, religious organizations, private sectors to join us, and we fight the violence that is being spread in the country against women and girls online.
Farida Nabanja of Mpiji Women with Disabilities Association condemned the circulation of images without consent, while Naomi Mbareba of Wenotha appealed to parents to monitor children's online activity.
If you happen to get time in the evening, you can come back home, sit, and look at what your kid has been watching. What has she or what has he been watching, and for how long? If you happen to see that your child has been watching videos more than 2 hours, you can put some rules and regulations.
Naffe ffenna abakozesa omutimbagano, oyina smartphone, oyina computer, gezaako olabe nti nno okozesa bulungi essimu yo.
Tukowoola abazadde mwenna mufeeyo nnyo okubeera nga mumanya kiki omwana kyali mu kukola n'essimu eyo gye wamugulira.
The activists emphasized that ending digital violence requires collective responsibility under the theme Unite to End Digital Violence.
With those stories makes the end of the local news, and we head direct to international news. And in international news, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is no longer in the country, in the world. He has died at the age of 86 in large-scale air attack on the country by the US and Israel. He presided over a complex theocratic system that was enforced brutally at home and sought to influence the exercise of power in other Middle Eastern countries. We have the details on this bulletin.
Its supporters, the late Supreme Leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, was their leader. They consider him their supreme religious and political authority. There's a lot of anger here. Hezbollah organized this solidarity gathering to show support to Iran and to mourn the killing of a man they call their divine leader. Hezbollah's Secretary General Naim Qassem issuing a statement saying that the group will continue the path of resistance, the path of the late Supreme Leader. But they called his killing a criminal act, and they said that we will fulfill our duty to confront this aggression. Now, while those were strong words, it is still far from a declaration of war or calls for revenge against Israel. Hezbollah is in a very difficult position. It has been severely weakened by near daily Israeli attacks against the group, and there have been repeated warnings that if there's any, quote, hostile action from Lebanon, Israel will escalate in Lebanon. Hezbollah may still have an arsenal of missiles that it can fire towards Israel, but that would trigger a massive Israeli response, and those who will pay the price are its supporters. Tens of thousands of them are homeless as a result of last year's war. So anger, grief, but there's only so much this organization, which part of its role really was to act as a deterrence force for Iran. It would be very difficult for it to act at this point in time. Zena Khudr, Al Jazeera, Beirut, Southern.
Those are the stories making the news in the international, and we continue with more international news, where Hezbollah and its supporters saw Iran's late supreme leader Al-Khamenei as their supreme religious and political authority. They held a solidarity gathering in Lebanon to mourn him, describing him as their supreme religious leader. We have the details on this story. Welcome back from that side of the story, international. We are still in international news, and in our latest stories that have come up, the special court in Juba has adjourned the high-profile trial of suspended first Vice President Riek Machar following a heated legal dispute over a digital forensic report. During the latest court session, defense lawyers challenged the authentic timeline of the forensic evidence, raising concerns about inconsistency in certification dates and alleged producer flaws. Will they have the details?
In Juba has officially adjourned the Machar trial following a heated dispute over the authentication of a digital forensic report. During the 54th court session, defense lawyers challenged the credibility and timing of the report, raising red flags over conflicting certification dates and questioning whether legal procedures were properly followed. The report, prepared by a South African digital forensic expert, had already been resubmitted after judges criticized the prosecution for disorganization, missing pages, and unclear references, making it difficult for both the court and the defense to track the evidence. At Friday's 55th session, presiding Judge James Alala Dung announced the court would suspend proceedings until Monday, March 2, 2026, allowing judges time to carefully study submissions from both sides. The document comprises different components and responses. We must give ourselves time to study and resume on Monday, the judge stated. Defense lawyer Dung John Dung objected to prosecution document number 9H, arguing that multiple authentication certificates dated September 2025 were processed after the special court was established, and claimed the report lacked authentication from the South African embassy in Juba. However, lead prosecutor Ajo Oni-Ohissa pushed back strongly, telling the court the defense failed to point to any law that was violated. He argued that all authentications were completed before both parties were formally served with the court's establishment order, and insisted there is no legal requirement for embassy authentication. Riek Machar and 7 co-accused face serious charges, including murder, terrorism, treason, and crimes against humanity. Machar remains under house arrest, while the others are detained at National Security Service facilities in Juba. All eyes are now on March 2nd, when judges are expected to rule on the defense objection, a decision that could significantly affect the direction of the trial. This is a developing story. For accurate, fast, and reliable updates on South Sudan and the region, like this video.
Those are the stories that are making news in Sudan. And from Sudan, we take you back to other country in the international news. 2 people were killed and more than a dozen others were injured in a mass shooting at an Austin bar alley on Sunday. Police said, adding that officers had also fatally shot a suspect. We have the details on the matter.
East 6th Street area left 3 people dead, 14 others injured, 3 of them in critical condition this morning. Investigators holding a news conference just moments ago.
There were indicators that on the subject and in his vehicle that indicate potential nexus to terrorism. It's still too early to make a determination on that. That's why we are investigating it very closely with our partners with Austin Police Department.
And for more on this, we're going to bring in ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas. Pierre, as we just heard there, the FBI saying that there were indicators of a possible nexus to terrorism. And this comes as we know there is an elevated threat environment and heightened security across the country.
Janae, the scenario that played out is both stunning and scary. They described the suspect driving up in a large SUV, firing out the window at people on the street, then at some point parking the vehicle, exiting the vehicle, and then continuing to fire his weapon. With so many injured, as you saw, and 3 dead before being killed himself by the police. Obviously, there were things, again, to quote the FBI official, there were things on his person and in his vehicle that point to terrorism. We're in the process of digging into that, trying to find out more details about precisely what that was. But you're right, this comes at a moment when we are in a heightened alert because of the ongoing conflict, U.S. military campaign in Iran, and U.S. officials have been concerned that there could be spin-off violence, if you will.
Welcome back from the Austin Bar. Earlier on the Sunday, we have been there as Radio. We continue with more news international, basically. And here we are in U.S., where U.S. Lieutenant General has expressed how the future of Iran will be after the days of its supreme leader. In this, he says that Iran will have to be in total mess, and it was the worst Iran leader opted to do. We have the details on the story.
Yeah, first off, we had the element of surprise. As you read the different reports and hear the different reports, it was a large assembly of all of the leadership, the supreme leader all the way down. And so the U.S. military demonstrated an incredible ability to be responsive and agile and quick, connected with the targeting of that particular location. So the opportunity was there, and our forces took advantage of it. And I think more broadly, what you're seeing here really are kind of the classic elements of deterrence playing out in real time. There's three parts of classic deterrence. You have the ability to impose unacceptable cost. We've seen that over the last month's worth of buildup of our forces in the Middle East. Then you have to be able to deny the adversary any kind of benefit for their attacks. Again, we've seen our missile defense forces arrayed around the Gulf. Our Gulf partners with their missile defense forces have done an admirable job thus far of really negating any kind of attacks from Iran. And then the last part, and probably the most important part of the classic elements of deterrence, is to make sure that we have credible messaging. Frankly, when President Trump says he's going to do something, he did it. Now, whether you agree with it or not, he did it. So like I said, we now have seen the 3 elements of classic deterrence, strategic deterrence playing out right before us.
Right. So, Lieutenant General, knowing that the Supreme Leader is now dead, what are the next steps for leadership in Iran? Is it militarily? What would that actually look like?
Yeah, it's going to be messy. I don't know that anybody has a real good crystal ball to figure out what will happen. There's going to be a leadership void in there. When you take 40 of your key leaders out, who is going to step into the void? I think another part of that's important is how are our Gulf allies, how will they respond? How will they help contribute to providing some stability into Iran? And then we always have to keep, kind of those third-party actors out there too. How are China and Russia going to try to also fill that void, that leadership void there, and try to influence now what might happen next?
Right. We were speaking to Marcus Moore not that long ago, and we showed live footage of Tel Aviv, and we essentially saw interceptor missiles, that Iron Dome that they have there, essentially active. So what kind of missiles are U.S. forces up against in that region right now?
Yeah, Iran has the largest complement of missiles in the Middle East. Everything from kind of simple ballistic missiles called the Fatah 110, very short-range ballistic missile, to the potential to attack with hypersonic missiles. And what we've seen here really is just a fantastic job by U.S. and our Gulf partners and their missile defense forces in terms of intercepting and keeping all of those defended assets safe. So yeah, a whole host of everything from short-range ballistic missiles, again, about 60 miles, they can just kind of fire across the Persian Gulf, to ones they reside deeper in the country of Iran, travel thousands of miles, not just into the Gulf, our Gulf partners, but can travel all the way to Israel.
Those are stories that are making the news as the U.S. lieutenant speaks about how the future of Iran will look like. And with this story, we come to the end of the international news, with ending with tension, where tension has escalated as ships attacked in the Strait of Hormuz. Two vessels were attacked Sunday in the Strait of Hormuz, Maritime Security Agency said. We have the details on the story.
Two ships were attacked in the Strait of Hormuz on Sunday, Maritime Security Agencies said, as Iran pressed a second day of strikes in response to U.S.-Israeli raids. One ship off the coast of Oman was struck by an unknown projectile above the waterline, the British Maritime Security Agency, UKMTO, said in a statement. On Sunday, Iranian state television said an oil tanker was sinking after being struck while transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Images broadcast by the television station showed thick black smoke billowing from the burning tanker. The strait is a key transit point for the global oil trade, through which a quarter of the world's oil and a fifth of its liquefied natural gas pass. On Saturday, Iran's Revolutionary Guards closed the shipping lane, warning that it was dangerous due to U.S. and Israeli attacks.
From that, we continue with more. We end the news of our local news and international news. With these stories, we go for a short commercial break and return with sports news.
Always a better choice. Your songs on your radio. My one and only station. It's always a better choice. Your songs on your radio. My one and only station. Love your radio. Love your music. This is the best thing on your radio. My one and only.
Emirimu giganye, obwongo bwesibye, byokola tebitambula, nandiki buli kyokwatako omukono tekigenda mu maaso. Ekikuddamu kikino, Disciples Fellowship Ministries esangibwa e Bukoto ekulembera Bishop Tom Kategere bakwaniza mu kusaba kwa Sande kuva saa 3 ez'okumakya okutuusa essaawa 8 ez'amalya g'ebyemisana, mu kusinza, mu kutendereza, mu kusabirwa, mu kuwulira ekigambo ekizzawo emmeeme eyo. Jangu osabe naffe, Mukama yanukule essaala zo. Tusangibwa Bukoto ku Northern Bypass ku Kitaka Stage okumpi ne kamera. Disciples Fellowship Ministries ebyalema webiramukira.
Radio, a voice so kind, touching hearts and soothing minds. Tune in now.
Welcome back from the commercial break, and here we continue with we come back for sports news, and we begin with local sports news in football. Alan Okello's Young maintain lead after stalemate with Simba. In these stories, Young Africans maintain their position at the top of the table following a hard-fought goalless draw against arch-rivals Simba SC at the new Aman complex on Sunday. Under the floodlights, the high-stakes karaoke debut began at the tentative pace as both sides struggled to find their rhythm in a cage-opening exchange. With more local sports news still in football, KCCA seek to pile pressure on leading pack at Buhimba. KCCA can't afford to drop points when they visit Buhimba United Saints at Royal Park, Butema on Monday. The Kasasilo go into the game confident after edging Bull and then Barora City in the same with Stanbic Bank. 2 wins on after other goals that were scored. Still in our sports news in football, SC Villa coach Zeleko wary of Calvary's raid. The game comes a few days after an energy-sapping Uganda Cup game against Buldet Villa won on penalties after a 2-2 draw at Fufa Stadium, Kadiba. Villa travelled 500 kilometers, and that has left head coach Zleko Kovacevic worried of the fatigue. Still in international local sports news here in Uganda. In cricket, Juma Mianji taking his chance with ATG. Westbrook won in Namibian League. Juma Mianji is relishing a rare opportunity for him featuring in the Namibian 50-over league. The young fast blower has had his stock rising since he made his debut for the Cricket Cranes in 2022, and after a month-long stay with the Gulf Giants during the ILT20 season, he has landed another playing opportunity outside of Uganda. We're still in local sports news. In table tennis, lasting impressions left, raw talents unveiled at 2026 Katerega Memorial Schools and Institutions Table Tennis Champions. The 26 Katerega Memorial Schools and Institution Table Tennis Championship successfully climaxed at the Lugogo Indoor Arena in Kampala on Sunday, first March. Over 300 players from primary, secondary and universities were actively engaged in the 3 days tranquil event organized by the Uganda Table Tennis Association, UTA, making a return to the domestic calendar after a decade. And we have as we end the local sports news, we end with the table, how the table is standing. In the first position, we have Vipers having 16 matches played, having 11 wins, having 5 draw, and having 0 lose, with coming out with 38 points. Now in the second position, we have Villa having 17 matches played, having 10 wins, with 4 draws, having 3 losses, and 34 points. In the third position, we have Gaddafi having 17 matches played, 10 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses, and 34 points, coming out with a goal difference of 18. In the first position, we have Chitara FC having 16 matches played, 10 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, coming out with 33 points. We end with KCCA FC in the 5th position, having 17 matches played, 10 wins, 3 losses, 4 losses, and 33 points. Now, with this, we come to international sports news, where judge orders PSG soccer star Achraf Hakim to stand trial in rape case. Lawyer says appeal planned. In the story, Morocco defender Achraf Hakim has been ordered to stand trial in a rape case, lawyers told Associated Press on Tuesday. Hakim's lawyer, Fan Collins, said she will appeal the judge's decision that followed the recommendations from the Natal Republic's prosecutor's office, which last August called for the player to stand trial. Collins said the date for the trial has not yet been set, but soon it will be set. We're still in the international sports news. Two-time Winbar champion Cara Braxton dies at 43 after being in a car crash. A two-time Winbar champion Cara Braxton died after being in a car crash in Atlanta on Saturday. She was 43. The athletic department at Georgia, where Braxton played in college, texted the Associated Press confirmation of her death on Monday and posted on social media. Her son, Jilani Tuman, posted a photo of his young selfie in his mother's jersey on social media and wrote that he will miss his queen. Still in international news, and here comes the team. U.S. captain calls President Trump's White House invite a distasteful joke. In the sports news, international team, United States Olympic women's hockey team captain Hillary Knight called President Trump's invitation to the White House a distasteful joke on Wednesday during an appearance on Espanol Sports Center. The invite came after Trump extended a welcome to the men's team via a phone call on Sunday. As celebration issued in the locker room following their 2-1 gold medal overtime win against Canada. As we continue with more international sports news, Benjamin Sesako's form is symbolic of Manchester United's rival under Michael Carrick. Hits and misses. The Sky Sports Football Wind Writers analysis Sunday's Premier League action as Benjamin Sesako continues his hot streak as Man United stay unbeaten. Tottenham, whose continue under Igor Tudor and Nottingham Forest goal scoring problem leaves them on the teetering edge of the Premier League survival. Still in sports news, and here we comes with Formula 1 2026. New rules era starts at the Australian GP with unpredictability expected for Mercedes, Ferrari, MC Roland, Red Bull fight. What to expect as Formula 1 is much anticipated new season begins this week. With the help of Martin Brando, we look at some of the key questions which the Australian Grand Prix live on Sky Sports Formula 1. Still in international, we take you to sports news and football analysis, where Man United take big step under Michael Carrick after Gareth Neville claims he's in box set for permanent job. Man United moved up to the third in the Premier League after coming from behind to beat 10-man Crystal Palace 2-1 thanks to Bruno Fernandes' penalty and Benjamin Sesako's header as Michael Carrick extended his unbeaten run in charge to 7 games and strengthened his case for the job full time. With this, we come with how the matches of yesterday, where Brighton and Hove Albion squad managed to score 2, whereas Nottingham Forest 1, and Fulham managed to beat Tottenham Hotspurs 2-1, whereas Manchester United managed to beat Crystal Palace 2-1. Arsenal managed to score 2-1. This is an amazing sports whereby we see all the matches of yesterday were almost similar in the stories. So we come to the table as we wind up for the sports, local sports. How the table is standing. In the first position, we have Arsenal, where the 29 matches have been played, and Arsenal is having 19 wins, having 7 draws, having 3 losses, and coming out with 36 plus goal difference, coming out with 64 points. In the second position, we have Man City, having 28 matches played, having 18 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses, coming out with 32 positive goal difference and having 59 points. In the third position, now comes Manchester United, having 28 matches played, 14 wins, 9 draws, 5 losses, 12 coming out with 12 positive goal difference, coming out with 51 points. In the first position, we have Aston Villa coming out with having 28 matches played, 15 win, 6 draw, 7 lose, with 8 positive, coming out with 51. We end with Liverpool in the 5th position, coming out with 28 matches played, 15 wins, 6 draws, 7 lose, having 8 positive difference, coming out with 48. Dear listeners, with this sports news and our local and international news, we end up with our news and wish you the best. We meet tomorrow, same time, same day.